What's up, guys? So we are going to be painting the top sides, and of course, what is the thing you have to do before you paint? Well, it's going to be sanding.
Jordan is down in the engine compartment drilling holes to mount our new electric yacht motor.
So I wanted to quickly mention, in one of our previous videos, we were kind of mad because we found out that
our engine wasn't through bolted.
So, and some of you guys pointed out in the comments that a lot of times there's a metal plate on the back that's actually threaded, and those motor mounts will go directly into that plate. And I think you guys were correct on some of those bolts. Some of them have the plate and some of them don't, because we definitely hit metal just now while we were drilling on like 2 of the holes, but not all 8. So
I'm figuring that the original motor that was put in this boat had metal brackets on the back for the mounts for the engine. Whenever our boat was repowered, the new engine wasn't sitting on those.
They used potentially what was left of the old metal plates underneath, and in some areas it worked, in some areas they through bolted a couple. I don't know, they did kind of a hodgepodge job.
Based on the fact that we can't trust that there's metal plates for all of those holes, what we're going to do is actually through bolt the mounts this time. So we feel a little bit more secure with that setup rather than just trusting that we went through the plate for each of those.
You guys like our new shaft? It's pine wood. Boom, baby, that worked. Take forever, but I'm actually making progress.
Alright, so Jordan is just tightening down the nuts so that we can through bolt the mounts for the motor.
We're not actually installing the motor permanently right now. We're installing it just so that we can actually measure the prop shaft length that we need, because we're going to be ordering a new prop shaft. We went to Home Depot and we bought a 1-inch pine dowel, and we're using that as a faux prop shaft. So we're actually installing it as we would with the normal prop shaft, measuring the length, and then basically using that measurement to buy our new prop shaft.
Yeah, we just want to be super exact. Nice head whack there. Looks super comfy. Nice jorts.
So I've got the motor dry fitted on the mounts, and I've also got the shaft perfectly aligned with the wooden shaft. That's basically where it's going to sit right there. Just picture this as stainless steel and that coupling on it. Now I'm going to go outside the boat and measure how far this comes out and get the measurement for the brand new stainless steel shaft. Alright guys, so behind me I've got our chain plates, and they need a bit of cleaning, so I'm going to be going at them with a wire brush on my drill, and I'll show you how well they clean up, because they're in pretty good shape. There's just a little bit of surface corrosion and some old bedding compound. This is one that I've already cleaned up with a wire brush. Looks pretty good. I'd trust that. So considering we have 6 of them, this is what it looked like before, so we're just going to do what I did to this one to all of them. And with just a little wire brushing and a drill, I would say they all look pretty good and serviceable. I inspected them all, inspected all the welds, no cracking, no stress anything. All looks pretty good, so I feel pretty comfortable with this. Now this guy is our new backstay chain plate. That is brand new because our old backstay chain plate had a crack right about there. So we got this one remade by Seco South in Pinellas County, Florida, and I will put a link to their website in the description below. They can make you chain plates, they can make you standing rigging, and they're actually a really good price. They do really good work, and they do it for a great price. And we actually had them add an extra hole. So the chain plate was only this big, and we actually had them add an extra hole for an extra bolt. just for a little bit of added security. So these are our chain plates. Our bow chain plate is still on the boat. There was no reason to remove it because the entire chain plate is exposed, so I can inspect the entire thing while it's still on the boat. And the bolts look good, so we didn't remove it, but we replaced the backstay chain plate. We cleaned up all these chain plates as well, and we're going to reinstall them. We're doing a test, and this is going to be an imperfect bond test. So here's two pieces of solid surface. This is the LG High Max solid surface, and we have the glue for it and the gun that we just got. And we're going to try to see how well it bonds two imperfect pieces together. So as you can see, we have an imperfect seam here, and I want to see how well this glue actually fills that seam and bonds these two pieces together seamlessly. I just want to see how important it is to actually get that seam as close as possible. We're gonna see what this looks like, and we kind of want to see the properties of the glue. So let's try it. Alrighty, so we're gonna let that sit for 45 minutes, I believe it's supposed to take for it to cure, and then we're gonna come back with some sandpaper and see how even we can get that seam to look. About an hour later, it looks to be bonded. It looks to be, I don't know if that's 100% a match or not, but we're going to try sanding it and see if we can sand out that seam. But it's almost like that stuff is like liquid solid surface. It's crazy. So, it feels strong too.
Yeah, it looks like it. Today we're feeling a little bit disappointed because we were told like we could make a seamless bind between two pieces, and there's very evidently a seam, and the adhesive that we told would be a perfect match is very clearly not a perfect match. So we're feeling a little bit defeated is probably the best word I could use. Alright, so here's where we're at. We are having one of those days where it feels like we are never, ever, ever going to get out of here. And therefore, we are not going to let this mismatch of colors and visible seam stop us from continuing on. If there is a seam there, while we are sailing around the world, sailing in the Caribbean, pretty sure we're not going to be so worried about the seam in our countertop. We're going to be out on the water, and that'll be better. So we're moving on. One thing we do want to do, just to make sure that we're getting the best seam that we can, is to route the edges and just make sure that they are perfectly straight. We think that that'll help create the cleanest edge.
That should be a pretty dang straight edge. Yeah.
Feels good?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So we know there's probably going to be a slightly visible line, actually probably two slightly visible lines in our countertop and our galley, but at this point we're thinking about ourselves on this boat out in the Caribbean, and we're just not going to care if there's a line in our galley when we're in the Caribbean. We're going to care about what dive spots to go to. We're going to care about what's our next destination, the fish that we spear that day, or the place that we're going to go kiteboarding. Like, it's not going to make a difference. So we're just going to seam it. It's going to look okay, and we're going to get cruising.
It's going to be done.
It's going to be done.
That's the point.
Yeah, that's all we care about. We're practical. We're practical DIYers. We're not the people that are going to sit here
Professional
and fix up a boat for 10 years because we want everything to be perfect before we go. We just want to go. We want it to be okay and good enough and safe enough and go. And whether there's a seam or not in our counter has no bearing on safety. It has no bearing on anything but whether or not a seam on your counter pisses you off a little bit.
So we were told the best way to get a good bond between two pieces of solid surface was to actually hot glue down a piece of wood like this to the surface and then use that to apply pressure with clamps.
Alrighty, so this has got to sit for about 45 minutes like this, and then we can go back and sand the seams.
We pulled off the blocks that we use to pull the pieces together, and this adhesive is dry, but we also want to get the adhesive that's going to hold these down onto the plywood drying. We're going to be using 100% silicone adhesive to hold the countertop to the plywood. Alright, line back up real quick. Make sure it's shoved all the way out.
Alright, I'm gonna put some weights on it. Alrighty guys, so we wanted to give you a quick little real-time update about the counter. It's the same day I'm going to be uploading the video. This is how we're actually using the counter right now. Now it's not done, but let me show you how it looks. You can see we have the sink in there. It's not permanently installed, but we have it connected to the drain just so we can wash dishes and stuff. And the seam is actually in this area, so it's visible, but it doesn't look horrible. And you can see that the sanding is still visible, so we still have to basically do the sanding over the entire counter and make it all look nice and pretty. The seams, I believe, will be slightly visible when we're done, but I don't think they're going to be that bad. I think they'll look pretty good. I think I'm going to have to show someone where it is in order for them to actually see it. We still have to cut out the hole for the cooler right there, which is actually going to be dry storage for food for us. But we have not done that yet. We still have to put on a fiddle on the side, which is going to cover this plywood right here. It's going to cover the plywood, and then it's also going to go up about maybe ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch above the countertop to prevent things from potentially sliding off while we're underway. We're also going to be doing a little backsplash on the back with extra solid surface as well, and a peel and stick tile backsplash behind all this. So like I said, this is very rough. It's just functional for us right now, and we're actually working really hard on the outside so we can get out of the yard as soon as possible, and then we'll finish this behind me when we're in the water and in a slip somewhere. But enough about that. We've got something else to say, so let's move over there.
Just wanted to take a quick minute to say thank you so much for watching our videos. We've really appreciated all of you sticking around and watching us make some brutal mistakes sometimes and leaving us some advice and comments along the way. We love being able to share this experience with you, and we really want to especially thank our patrons. It's been so great to be able to send out your shirts and rewards to you guys, and actually seeing some of you even tag us in photos with those shirts has been a really cool experience.
And that actually brings us to our next point. We've now been uploading videos for 2 years to YouTube, and it's gone so quickly, and it's just been an awesome ride. But we want to do something special to thank you guys for that. So we're going to be announcing next week a special edition patron reward that's going to be available for existing patrons as well as new patrons up to a specific date. So you can still get on board now for that patron reward, and we're going to announce all the details next week. And if you want to do that, the link for our Patreon page is going to be in the description below this video.
As always, guys, if you've enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like and a comment down below. If you want to follow along with all of our future videos, also hit that subscribe button, and if you hit that notification bell, you'll get to know every time we upload a video.
Because apparently subscriptions don't matter anymore. So have a good one, guys. Have a nice day.
I've got it right and I got it wrong, but I learned my lesson hanging on. Come sit here with me by the fire and let it